a post-apocalyptic survival city builder with physics. That's what we're getting ourselves into today with the full early access version of All Will Fall. Developed by All Parts Connected, a game available for you to download yourself as of April 3rd. Link is in the description. The game is provided to me and published by tinybuild, and we're going to be getting into it with the flu. Yeah, it's bad timing. Just the way the schedule turned out. I'm going to make lemonade with these lemons, okay? Let's give it a whirl. I think I'm well enough. So when you first boot the game up, you have the option to either go with the fresh start and the tutorial, which will lock the other scenarios until you've kind of proven that you've understood the game. You get a feel for it in waves and increments. But if you choose to skip that and you say, hey, I know how to play this game, well, at least in my version of the game, it unlocks all the scenarios for you, so you can choose which one you want to play right away. There are 8 scenarios, and 8 scenarios plus the tutorial right here. And I think a good place to start for our video series and stuff, if you want to see more scenarios after we're done with this one, then by all means, let me know that. But I think a good place to start just to get our bearings with it and how it's like the base rules of how the game works is with Random Town, a completely new place that we can start again. And it's a randomly generated map without a tutorial. So I think we're going to start with that one. We can get our feet wet, hopefully not too wet, and we can move through the game with its progression as it is without any special rules in the scenario. So this is where we're going to start. And this is our randomly generated map. So we're going to be here at the beginning. And then we have this structure over here. And I'm looking for my natural expansion. It's going to be this building right here. There's a lot of wood here, a lot of things that we can build off of here. I like that. We also have the antenna, which I haven't expanded myself in playing the game to get here yet, so I don't know what to expect, but this is called the mysterious structure. Yeah, because these people have no idea what it is, right? And then you have a lot of buildings over here that are kind of in this big circle, and it'd be hard to get to that. But it looks like we're going to have to wait for the tide to drop over time before we can actually get to this. And you'll see what I mean in a second, but like that's really far away, and I'm gotta get to that because there's probably some really good stuff there. I'm seeing some of the yellow crates and stuff, which are always good to get. But we'll go. Yeah, we'll get there eventually, I think. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to settle these guys in an appropriate way, and I'm thinking probably my housing. I think my housing could probably just be here. I like to build tall. I like to build up. And I think my housing can be right here. There's some wood that's kind of built into this, and they're going to be able to grab that stuff as long as I build them. So how does building work in the game? This is a physics-based builder. Everything kind of has a weight to it, and there's some physics to it. There are some things that have been done because it's a video game. So, for example, I haven't noticed storms and wind having a significant impact on build integrity. So take that for what it is. If you build a really big flat wall of something, I haven't noticed big storms actually having an impact on that, but maybe that's something coming later. I don't know. So first we're going to build this little bridge that kind of comes through here. And I can choose one of these, or, you know, I can choose a different look for the bridges and everything here. You'll notice if I do this, though, there's not a lot of support for it. And so we're going to get this warning that says, hey, this is going to collapse, because there's not a lot of support for this. This type of bridge just isn't very well supported, but it has the advantage in many scenarios of allowing people to walk underneath it. So there's a trade-off there. Now, the same amount of resources, though, is for this bridge instead. And there's also a handrail on that one, which looks pretty nice. But if I use this one instead, then there's extra support structure in that. And so they're going to be able to hold more weight, right? You can kind of see the details on it as I hover over top of it. This has a 200, right? It's what it says is support, right? So 200 support versus 80 support, right? And as you do that, then they'll have access to these other resources. But they're all going to sit down and do almost nothing because there's not a lot of work to do. So to start things off, let's give them a lot of things to do. First, I'm going to grab some storages so that they, you know, can use that as something to do. And I think I'll place our storage for now. Let's put this here and here for our supplies. And until they actually gather more wood, they're not going to have enough wood to actually build those yet. And then I'm going to add food storage here as well, as soon as they give me the ability to do that. There we go. Now over here, looks like I've got some water, and I do want to get those water because these guys have no water and they have no food. We're going to be struggling for building resources for a little while, but as we collect them, we can then put them immediately to work. And then we currently have 12 citizens, which is over our occupancy limit because our limit is dictated by our housing capacity. And right now we have no housing, so we're going to need to do that for people too. Since they're all sitting around doing nothing anyway, let's go ahead and tell them to break down this boat. It's in the way. I don't need it. And I actually have a better idea for what to do with that boat anyway. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of extra building infrastructure right around here, so I can have a path that kind of goes around here. I think this is where I want to be to get up to a secondary level here, because I'll probably be useful in the future, and I think this is going to be fine. If I end up not needing it or not, not using it, then I can tear it down for free. That's something the game lets you do. So right here, I can go and do this. There's support adequately on the side here. So if you have two sides of support, this is much more stable. The little green marks that you see here just kind of shows where the connection points on that are. And the more of these little green connection points you have, the more structurally sound that build is going to be. Okay, so as we go, I think I can probably make a staircase is what I want to do. So let's put stairs right here. And I'll just, again, I don't think it matters, but oops, that's not what I want to do. You can break things down and get a full refund for everything as you build them. So it's no big deal. I'm going to put stairs, I think, right here. And this is going to allow me to go around the storage just so I don't block them and get up to the higher level here. Because I actually have a plan in my head right now of how this is going to be built out. So I'm kind of structuring things around that plan right now. For example, I think I want water. I think I actually want 2 storages for water. Not there, though. I don't know why it did that there. That's not where I want that. Let's get rid of that. And we're going to place it right here instead. I want 2 storages for water here. Maybe we start with 1 because we only have enough storage for 1 anyway. But oh, one of the things I definitely want to do is I want to reduce those voices to basically 0. There's not enough variety in what they say, and it gets really repetitive very fast. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just kill the voices, because otherwise you're going to hear that exact comment like dozens of times, in maybe even in just the single video. It gets very repetitive. I hope they add more variety in the future. Okay, so I'm gonna say, yeah, we want to have this walking path kind of be over here. And I know I'm putting probably obnoxiously more time into this than I should be, but I'm just trying to prevent blocking this in the future and then making the best use of this space as possible. The first thing I think I want to do as a major building in this side is I want to generate some science. And this is a small lab. Small lab is going to take resources in, and they're going to study some things, and they're going to lead us to having, you know what? I could actually do it this way. Now that I have a door on that top part, I could actually do it here. Then I've got this extra space that doesn't have a usage. Yeah. Now what if I did this, it would be okay. Now I'm going to do this back the way I think my original plan was, which is to have this be right up against this, like that. And we'll leave it like this. My whole initial envision in my head is to kind of have this be a temporary housing area. And I think if I oriented this the other way, it might make things more challenging. So temporary housing area on that note, I think maybe we'll have this leaning off the edge just a little bit because it's going to let me do it. And it's not structurally sound for the long term. I certainly wouldn't want to put a lot of stuff there on top of it later. But this does let me do it. Just for now, I'm going to place this one here too. It's going to give me more support. I think that's probably good. All right, so this provides housing for 2 people each. And so I'm going to need 6 of these. And again, I'm mostly just looking for temporary housing here. And because my more permanent housing, I think is going to be right over here. But in the meantime, I know this is going to look a little weird. But again, I am pretty open about this being temporary. So don't judge me on how it looks yet. It'll work itself out over time. So we'll have housing for people there. And then since I'm already bringing people up, I already have this walking path here. So I'm hoping that it'll let me just kind of do this. Yeah, like that, and then like that. And this will connect everybody up. I could probably just do a shortcut. Yeah, there's really no reason to have them do that. So let's kill that for a second. I can actually kill this now and this now, and I'll go ahead and replace that by just having this instead. That's going to be better. Yeah. Now they can get directly to their houses. So we now have access to the 3 houses below and the 3 houses above. And until we get proper housing, this is where people will live. Okay, proper housing. Where's that going? Well, here's our small lab. And let's go ahead and grab 2 engineers to work there. We're going to take a look at there's a variety of different options in the tech tree, and there's a lot of different places to start here. On housing, wooden houses is where I'd like to get to. You can get a lot of goodwill from people there. You can get a lot of comfort from people there. And that's very important in this game. Over here on the left, this is kind of going along with it. Over here on the left, we have our next move. These are story elements. These are story prompts that are going to pop up in the game as we do. Some of them have time limits. Some of them do not. And all of them require some kind of decision. Sometimes that decision is very easy. And in this case, the only one I can do is just shut up all of you. But sometimes they're a little more complicated, and you can kind of choose how you want to do it, depending on, you know, what your play style is. Each one of these, for example, are ideas that are being prompted by one of the three classes of citizens. We have workers, sailors, and engineers. And each one of these are, there's a count of how many are unemployed, and how many are part of that group. And then you have their current maximum happiness. Happiness is going to dictate their loyalty for you. And as you get more and more loyal citizens and more happy citizens, they'll unlock bonuses for that class of citizen. So they'll have more carrying weight. For example, workers will be able to carry more. And if I get to 15, now I can unlock their leader's traits. Each class has a leader, which is represented by the portrait for them. And that leader has specific traits. Sometimes those traits are really helpful to you, others not so much. And also they can elect, if you allow them to, their own leader, which makes them happier because you give them more freedom. But also it could potentially backfire on you because you're trying for something specific. So you can take a bit of a happiness hit by telling them, no, you can't pick them. But it is what it is. Okay. The last thing here is influence. And this is the only option I have right now because I do not have, and I'm trying to close this window. There it is. I don't have this building, fishing hut. And I was like, hey, I want to focus on a fishing hut. I don't have that. And I think it's a good thing to do because I don't have any food. So I want to do this. And if I do this, then my sailors get more loyalty. It'll help my sailors rating here. And I do want to do that. But in order to do the fishing hut, I have to research it. So let's go over here. And we're going to go to food. And here's the fishing hut. And if I give it 20 wood, they'll research this. And it takes a little bit of time, depending on my engineers and how many are working on it. If I make a second small lab, we can double this up. But, you know, that I don't have a whole lot of engineers right now, so we're just going to leave that alone. We also have another event below that, and that is drifting wood. Our base has been hit by some drifting wood. This is great news. If I do this, I get 30 wood. Morons, don't let it go. I can get 45 wood for this, but it also reduces my influence. I think at this point, wood is really, really valuable, and influence is not that valuable at this particular moment. So I'm going to go ahead and be like, hey, morons, go get it. And it's going to give me 45 wood right away, which I can then use immediately to go off and build things. Now, a lot of people are standing around doing nothing, and this is generally a bad thing. Well, it's because they have nothing to scavenge, really. There's limited amounts of accessibility here. There's not a lot of places they can access this. If I do this, then that will help them access more of it. But what I really want to do is get them down to the second level here. So I'm going to use this wooden ladder, and I'm going to just bring that down. And now they can go down there, and they can start scavenging all this stuff too. I might actually go ahead and put some storage for wood down there as well. I think it would be a good idea, just to give them a place where they can deliver this. And I don't want to put it on the edge because the edge is very valuable real estate. So I don't want to put things on the edge if I can avoid it. Wow. Hello, camera. Now, camera position in this game can be a little bit tricky because of the verticality, but the game does provide me with a tool on that. I can drag this down and basically make it to where nothing's in my way down to a certain level if I want to. So if I know I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff on this level here, I can just flat out hide the level above it. So let's add a little bit of storage. I think I'm just going to put one extra one right there. And then over here, we have this dock. And this is a gathering dock. Now, these docks are only useful by ships. So they're not really going to do anything for me on the surface. But when I get ships, this will help in delivering things. And I definitely want that. So I'm going to place this dock right here. It's a pretty good spot for it, actually. And when you're placing a dock, you want to watch for what's underneath because the tide will go up and down. Mostly down, but it can go up. And over time, it will gradually go down. If you're playing this scenario, over time, the tide will drop and reveal more and more places down below. And that means that this dock will eventually need to move because it's too high. But as it reveals what's below, it's possible things can get in your way. And in this case, I think we're fine in that spot. Yeah. But a lot of times that's not necessarily the case. So in this case right here, for example, you can see how if I had a dock right here, I'd be able to access the water no problem. But as the tide falls, well, now I'm going to have stuff in my way, and eventually this thing is going to be in my way. And now they won't be able to use it anymore, right? So placement of things is pretty important, but the edge is very valuable space because it's how you can interact with the water. All right, so as I progress through the game here, my research will be finished, and now I can go ahead and get a fishing hut. And so the fishing hut, I think, will start. And again, I think I want to make sure nothing's going to be in the way. This looks pretty good. So initially, I think we'll place our fishing hut right here. And we'll just put it up right about there. And then having another food storage down here wouldn't be such a bad idea either. We can place it right there. Just so they can, it gets transported really close by, and that's okay. Okay, so that's going to automatically complete that event because I went ahead and built one of these things, all right? So let's go ahead and add, I think I can add a sailor to that. That's fine, one sailor. Although sailors are very valuable, but workers are very valuable too. Why don't we start with an engineer here? Some buildings will let you staff anyone, but a lot of buildings don't give you that option. Now, because I automatically completed that, I gained the 2 happiness that was for that option. So it's like automatically selecting the sailor option because I went ahead and did it. And so that gives me a little bit more progress towards this, which is sailors gaining increased movement speed. That's only valuable if I actually have boats for the sailors. So let's take a look and see what that looks like. If I wanted to have boats, and it looks like I don't have that ability yet. So let's bring ourselves back up here. And let's go into my research here really quick. Okay, fishing boat is what I'm looking for here. So we can go for fishing boats, or we can go for simple boats, which are really helpful in gathering too. So I want to take a look at that. But I have a problem with food at the moment, and I don't have a problem with building materials. So we're going to go fishing boat at the start. And then I might shift into mushroom farms too, just to really make sure I get what I need. Okay, then. Now we should stockpile is a thing that it said right here. There's a little bit a notice right here. And it's like, Captain, I know you're capable of making good decisions, but here's what we think you should do right now. And again, this is these guys debating over what's best, right? And so now I can focus on this resource that they want. If I focus on water, this is going to give me more influence to focus on water. As long as I have the amount of water being promised, I satisfy this requirement. This is our number 1 priority. I need to get food, right? That is our number 1 priority. And I get my influence. Shut up, all of you. Just doesn't give me anything. I have the water already, so I know I can fit this requirement. I do think that food is a bigger priority, but I can get the influence with this right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and confirm this. And since I already have the required materials, it's just going to let me complete it. And I get it. So that's good. This one says tenants are unable to reach their homes. So the entirety of their doorway has to be walkable. And in this case, it isn't. So I'm just going to add a little bit of space right here. And I'll just give them a little bit of a balcony too. Why not? And now they can reach that. Yeah. And everybody can walk on top of this already. So yeah, they can reach that too. All right. Everybody's going to bed now. There you go. So they can all reach their homes. Everybody's happy. Should be all right. Not a bad day 1. All right. Could be maybe a little bit smoother, but not a bad day 1. So the one other thing we're going to consider here over time, or while this is playing on, is the bar over here on the right is actually a pretty important area. It's going to show what's going to happen in the future, right? So this calm, nothing's going to change here. And then here, we're going to see low tide. And low tide means the water level is going to change 4 meters. Then we have high tide where it goes back up 4 meters. Effectively, it's going to lower, and then it's going to come right back to where it is now. Now, this is important because over time, this changes. Sometimes it will drop, for example, 8 meters, but then only come back 4. And that's how you get a gradual drop in the total baseline tide. And in this scenario, once the tide's baseline drops, it doesn't come back up. So in this scenario, over time, we will see things gradually be revealed permanently. And I'm going to wait a little bit here for that to happen. I want to get to this building because this building has a lot of good stuff, lots of junk and stuff too, for us to be able to use. But it's hard to reach this because, again, you have building integrity that happens in this game. So if I wanted to, bring it over here. See how when I access the build menu, all this is green? That means a ship can pass through. It means a boat can go in there right now. But if I was to, say, for example, do this and try to build this, it directly blocks a ship's ability to go through here, right? That makes sense. And it also just can't do that because you see the red? It's just there isn't enough strength on things. Now, maybe I could mount it to the wall here. Maybe it would let me do that. Will it allow that to exist? No, there's certain parts here where it's just not allowed to happen. It's just not strong enough to stay up. And so it'll eventually collapse. Now, we can use this whole eventually collapse things to our advantage to provide temporary access to things. But a more permanent access is going to require more structural stability. And for that, we need better building techniques and better building materials to do it as well. Okay, so the next thing, we have a little bit of food because we have the fishing hut, but we need more. And research-wise, I'm working on the fishing boat, so work time should start any minute now, I think. Yeah, I'm hoping it does. Yeah, I mean, normally you would hear work time begins now, but I shut the voices off, and that's okay. We're just not going to hear those things. I'm going to place another fishing dock right here because, again, we need more food. And I'll place an engineer in there too. So we'll get an extra fishing dock now that hopefully buys us a little bit of time in getting food out there. And then once I place a fishing boat down, we can do something like that. It builds instantly and I can assign it instantly. So we'll put 2 fishermen in that boat and now they can go out and try to find fish. But they may not have access to fish right now. There may not just be any fish. And it actually looks like that's the case. It doesn't look like there are any fish for them to be able to get yet. But as the tide drops, we'll be able to reveal more. So that is something. Maybe in that case, in that situation, yeah, because right here the boat is idling. There's no fish in the area. So there will be, and it'll be fine. Let's take a look at my research again here. Now I could go into simple boat, which makes sense, but I'm gonna go demolition hut first, I think here. Now it says I don't have enough resources to do the research because I don't have enough wood. They're gonna probably provide enough. I think they'll provide enough junk, but not enough wood. So that's the part where oh, they can't access. Oh, I see. They can't access this because it's, hang on, do this then. They should be able to access it now. Yeah, there we go. So they can't get through this stuff because I don't have the demolition hut. That was where I was going with this. The demolition hut is going to let me break down this rubble and, you know, parse through those resources. So now that I get this, that's like the last natural wood that I have. Otherwise, I'm going to have to start breaking this stuff down. And I don't want to do that. I like the way it is. Although I could, reasonably, I could break this down. This is a little extra I didn't need to have. Like I don't need that, for example. I probably don't need this, but I thought maybe I might build up some more here and yeah. All right, demolition hut research is completed. I want to go ahead now and start. Wood crane is good. Wood crane is good. Simple boat is better. I think let's go get the simple boat for now. So with this demolition hut, it works in a range and I'm not sure if the game will let me zoom out enough to show it. You can kind of see it, how the range is affected, right? And it'll highlight certain things in certain buildings and what it can get. And I think to start off, I'm going to put this down here because there's a lot of stuff down here to get. And I'll start by placing it, I think, right here. Just right there in the center is good for me. And as they build this, all of a sudden it'll highlight all this stuff and now we're good to go. So let's put workers in there and now we can start breaking down all the rubble, which is going to give me a lot more building materials to work from. And then when the tide goes down, I think that's when we'll reveal our fish. But in the meantime, since we're not necessarily going to have, I think this boat needs to get out of the way, honestly. I think I need to move the boat. Yeah, I'd like to move the boat. Does it let me move the boat if there's nobody in it? No, it doesn't let me move the boat, but I think it'll be okay. Let's put 1 sailor in there for now while the research completes tomorrow morning. Yeah, we'll be able to go from there. Now this is a chain blocker. It stops floating objects. It's a work in progress. It stops floating objects. So I could maybe put this in there. I haven't used this yet, but there's been lots of instances where I was playtesting where that would actually be pretty valuable. Like right here, look at all this stuff that's just floating. It will eventually move away from me, right? You can see the direction it's drifting. And if you don't get it now, then you'll have to get it way over here later once it's already gone. Or maybe it moves away from you entirely, right? So and then more stuff will float in from other places too. So yeah, this is where the simple boat comes in, and they'll be able to grab all this stuff. So I think I will actually take the sailors out of this. I'm going to put a simple boat in instead, and we'll place this here, and then we'll place the sailors in there instead. They're going to have access to all of this stuff, and they're going to be able to go get that stuff. And I think I actually want 2 of them right now. Yeah, we're going to get 2 simple boats because it's just going to be great to have it. So we'll put 2 extra sailors in there. And then this boat will just sit there, I suppose, kind of in the way, but it'll just sit there. And as the demolition hut works, they'll clear this stuff out. I could prioritize if I'd like to, for example, get this area here to be cleared quicker. I can prioritize it, and we'll go like this. That really opens it up so that they will go after this part first and free up this edge so that I can start using it maybe for another dock, for example. Because only one boat will actually use the dock at a time. All right, we have the low tide is coming in, all right? Or I guess it's leaving, right? The tide is leaving. Isn't that how it's worded? And when this happens, new resources can be temporarily revealed, all right? And that's this stuff. We can now get down here and get this stuff if we choose to. And eventually it'll just be available all the time. And all this little green, you know, sort of algae stuff will kind of go away at that point. But it's revealing all this new stuff, which is going to let the boats go off and get new things. Okay, so if I wanted to, say, for instance, access this area, what would I do? Well, I could add a temporary little thing here. I could go like this. Probably the other way. Yeah, face it this way. I could maybe do something like this, and maybe let's have... let's have this be... like that. And we can just have it be connected like so. Okay. And let's bring this all the way down, because we can. All right. Right there. There we go. And it looks to me like I kind of I didn't go far enough on the supports, but that's okay. I can do it this way. It's okay. That is too much weight. Can't support it. Interesting. Okay. Just try this then. Just take this away for a second. And we'll replace this with something that supports a little bit better. How about like this? Yeah, like this. That'll support it a little bit better. And then I can use that. Let's just kind of get this out of the way, shall we? Yeah. I can use this to maybe go off like that. That's fine. It looks a little janky, but it'll work. It'll give them access to this lower level, and they'll immediately start coming down here to try to clear some of this stuff out as if it's like the most important thing in the world for them, because they don't have access to it right away. So, you know, I think I probably will have this be the big priority for them right now, because they're about to lose access to it in a little while, and I want them to get it now. So there they go. And this is, again, the demolition hut, but it's also other people too. Like the random workers that don't have a job will come out and start scavenging things as well. Okay. So over here, our fishing boat doesn't really have anything to do. This is right here. The fishing boat doesn't have anything to do. I could put workers on it. Are there fish? I don't know. Ah, there's fish right here. So I've seen that. So if I put workers in the fishing boat, will they actually sail in that? It looks like they will. Yeah. Okay. I didn't realize that non-sailors would be in the boat, but maybe they're just, I don't know, maybe they're just less efficient at the job. But either way, they can go get that fish, which is good. This is exactly what we need. So the next research we should do, because I know we're kind of sitting here not researching right now, is probably water collection. So let's use the water. Let's get the wood boiler. And what the wood boiler does is it allows us to burn wood, but it's going to turn salt water into drinkable water, right? We're basically just going to, yeah, you boil it. And then when it falls, it doesn't have the salt in it anymore, right? But this is going to cause pollution, which means you don't want this to be near where your people are going to live. Now, I don't want to set this up over here, but temporarily it's right here where people live. So I'm actually going to put it over here. I think this is a great spot for it, actually, right about here, right on the edge. Although one could argue that right here is a better spot for something else, but I think right over here on the edge is probably better for this. We're just going to kind of break down some of these things so that we don't have, you know, I don't want to use more wood than necessary. High tide's coming in, run! So what will happen now is that they will retreat back up to high ground, back up to where it's safe. And so they should stay out of here now. I say that as they come up, but they should go back up automatically. You shouldn't have to babysit this. As soon as it becomes unsafe to be here, they just won't come down here. Word spreads, it says. Look at this. You got this little guy, these guys right here. They're like, hey, help us. So what's going on here, right? Well, people are noticing that, hey, there's civilization over there. We need help. And so we can say that we welcome everyone, and this will give us engineers more loyalty. We'll actually gain 4 engineers from this. I can tell them that they can stay as long as they pay, in which case I'll still gain the engineers, but I won't gain the loyalty. I won't gain the happiness from them. But I will gain goods, and goods are great for trade. Eventually we're going to start getting trades, and we can use goods as a trade to get other things, which is very nice. I could say, hey, just remember I'm the captain here. Still get them, no loyalty, but I get more influence for later. Or I can say, hey, find another place we're full. In which case I lose influence and the engineers don't like me. So they like adding people to their ranks, right? They like people who are with them. I think I'm actually going to make them pay. I'm going to say +7 here. Although, yeah, I don't really need the movement speed at the moment. It's not a critical thing. And I honestly, the goods aren't that critical either. So maybe it's okay to boost. It's a +1 though, so I don't get anything for it. I think I'm gonna make them pay. So we're going to gain some goods for that. It's something we can bargain with in the future. But we also now need another place for them to live. We need another house for them to live in. And I can just place that right there. It's fine. That's okay. And actually, because I placed it there, I can actually put another one here too for later. So we'll just stick that there too. And that should be just straight up allowing enough living space now. Yeah. 16 out of 16. Good. Okay. We have the wood boiler. This is a polluter. You can see again this little area of effect zone here. You don't want to put this near where people are living. So put the wood boiler there. I'm also going to place another one, I think, down here. Just right down at the bottom here. Let's put this like right here is fine, I guess. It's maybe a little bit off of that pile of wood. All right, so we want 2 of these wood boilers because we got a lot of work to do here on making sure that we get a good amount of water. So I can place engineers in that, and I can place engineers, the new engineers we just got, I can place them in this as well. So there we go. So everybody's got a job. All right, there we go. Now, a mysterious building. This is a persistent long-term mission, and it's basically wanting us to come over to the strange structure over here, right? Basically a radio tower. And we want to go over there and investigate what that is. And so that's like a long-term mission. And I think we'll be able to get to that. It's going to be a little bit of a struggle because, I mean, that's pretty far. And structural integrity, we're probably not going to be able to reach that until we get firmly into metal structures, I think. Metal support structures and stuff are going to be absolutely necessary there. Okay, next thing, rain catchers. Rain catchers are huge, and as we start getting more storms and stuff, yeah, we want to capture that rainwater. And the rain catchers need to be attached to storages for water, which is why I'm going to put in another one right here eventually too. I'm going to put another water storage right there. And now I can put the rain catchers down here too. Now this isn't a permanent place for housing, but eventually I want housing over here too. And we'll probably have rooftops that corral the water in where they need to be, but you'll see what I mean by that as we go. We'll have rooftops. We'll be able to collect the water and move it in a direction that we want to put it into the rain catcher so that it can end up collecting more rainwater than it would normally be able to collect. So here's rain happening right there, followed by a low tide that removes it down to 4 meters. But we're going to have rain here. So if we can get this before the next day, that would be nice. Ooh, you ended the day right before you got it. You suck. It's okay. They'll be able to get it right here. It'll be a little cloudy. We'll get rain catchers completed as a research before the rain. And then we'll just need to be able to build it, which we have enough materials to do, so it shouldn't be much of a problem. But we've taken care of the essentials, which is food, water, shelter. Basics of any survival game. Basics of any survival, period. Just food, water, shelter is the 3 pillars of excellence that you need for the bare minimum survival, okay? And actually, you know what? there's a lot going on that dock. I think I want a second one, but I was going to wait for the tide to drop permanently before I put another one in. But I think maybe that's not necessary. What is this? 10 wood? Yeah, we can do that. Let's get another dock over here. Yeah, right about here is good. Get another dock so they can maybe not crowd this so much. Okay, rain catchers. So what we're going to use, we have two different versions. There's a version that sits on the ground, and then there's this version that mounts to the side of something, okay? And if you connect them to water storages, then they'll work. So collects rainwater requiring clear access to the sky. All right, so we can place it here. Or I can place it just off center. And I actually was hoping, I think eventually I want to remove this. Slide these over, and then I'll be able to have like one here and then the other one can be here. And I can probably do that right now, but I think it would get in the way of storages. Maybe not. Maybe not. It certainly would get in the way of this, but I can always redo this. Let's see about redoing this. So I want everybody to get out of their house, and indeed they already have. Let's tear this down really quick. I thought this was going to be a good solution, but I'm second guessing it now. Thankfully, again, full refund for things that we built, so it's great. Okay, so what we can do is let's move this to be just over a little bit, like that's fine, and then we can move this to be over just a little bit more too, about there. Now, what I want to do is I want to have one rain catcher be. Oh, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Put this back. Put this back. Abort. Oh, you're just gonna. Oh. I wanted to abort the move, not abort the build. So you've already demolished. That's not how I wanted it. Okay. Well, it is what it is. That's not what I wanted. What I wanted was to be able to go like this. Yeah, here and here is what I was looking for, because that gives me two of them in this storage on both of these storages. Is where I was going with this. And then I could move this a little bit forward. I could maybe slide this just a little bit like that. That's where I wanted to be. And then they can still access through here. They can still walk through this, which is important. You don't want to block things. Although here it's not that important. I could actually put another storage right here and it would be accessible. So, I mean, I guess there's that. Maybe I could put in even another water storage. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but yeah, I mean, we could. Okay, yeah. Let's put a water storage here, and then we could also take a rain catcher and put it on the edge here. So that's good. I guess that works. So that's how I want that to go. And then let's make sure we rebuild their access to housing. And we can do that just by, I guess, going about here with it. It's a little simpler, a little more efficient on resources. Yeah, about there is fine. Okay, so that gives them access to the upper level again. And then over here, we want access to work, right? The wood fire, wood burner, whatever. Why don't we move this? I'm just going to rotate you. That's not it. I want to rotate you like this, yeah. Let's go like that. And then we're just going to go like this. Is that not? That seems like the wrong level. Yeah, there it is. Go like that. So now at least they will have access to that. Okay, so what we're left with now, I hope anyway, yes, are rain catchers. There it is. Production has no storage attached. Now that's odd because it is right there. Like you are attached to that storage. Unless you're only allowed to be attached to one. I thought I could double this up, but you're telling me there's no. That is interesting. You should have access. It's clearly highlighting it. So you should definitely have access to that. Yeah, now it's working. Okay. All right. Next thing to research then to really help this out is the roofs. So we want roof research, and engineers need to be reassigned here because I did move the building, which unassigns them from the building. Same thing here. Need to bring them back. There we go. And then we could hopefully get that research done before the end of the day. But now it's going to start getting cloudy. And, ooh, it slowed down my time acceleration. Interesting. Why did it do that for? Unable to reach any marked resources. These guys are. Let's see. Is there anything else? We can't get anything. I need to move these guys over. I need to give them access to this other place. Now, what if I was to do something like I just don't think I can get far enough. That's the problem. And this is not very structurally sound. But if I was to place you underneath like this, that would add at least some structural integrity to this. I could then theoretically go like this, which would add even more structural integrity there. Follow that by going here, which is technically more structurally sound. And then finally, I need to go on this side and line it up about there. Although that's mostly... Let's do it with the other one. I'm not really placing anything on top of it. Trying to stretch it. So something about like that. And then I think technically that is better than the flat one. And then now we're left with something like this. Does that allow boats underneath it? It does look like it does. It does. Boats can go underneath that. So now we have access to this area. And we have access like permanently. Nothing structurally bad about this. So that's going to work. We can now access these resources. Eventually we'll be able to break down these stairs here too. But in the meantime, it would be nice to be able to break down some of these other things too. Yeah. So why don't we also give them access to this stuff over here too? Let's say we have access to roofs now too, which is big. Let's put you... I don't need that. Yeah, we can get away with this, I think. Something like this would be fine. That gives them access to all this area. And so now they can break things down more. Yeah. All right. Good. All right. We have access now to roofs, and it's about to rain. So the roofs, how we're going to do this is this. This is kind of a demo of what we're going to have above houses too. These roofs actually add decoration value to any house that's underneath it and any building that's underneath it. So when we start to stack houses on top of each other, putting a roof on the top of the top building actually affects the bottom buildings below too. So it's nice to just stack things up and then have roofs that do this. But the other thing that roofs do, see the blue arrows? The rainwater is going to run down in the direction of those arrows. So if I was to, for example, go like this, and I can just place this, I guess, here and here. Now the rainwater is going to come in here and fall naturally on these, but it also hits this and then runs into it. So now these rain catchers can catch more than 100% of their water collection. Now these are at 200 now, right? And that's pretty big. And then as we go and have more later, we could also have, for example, 2 rain catchers here and then have the sloped roofs to where the rain that falls here comes this way and comes this way, and then these 2 would then bring it down. And that's how you can get up to 500% max collection speed. You just have to be redirecting the water. So I managed to get this built before it actually had our big rain, and that's great. Now we have this happening in the future too. So there's a rain, then there's a low tide, high tide, and then there is sea level drop. Sea level drop is a permanent reduction. So the low tide is temporary. It's going to go back up. But the sea level drop is permanent, down to 3 meters. So we're going to end up having access to this level permanently once this happens, right? This is going to drop at 4 meters. This will raise at 4 meters. And then this drops at 3 meters for good. All right. We have another one here. Can't really call it a home. It's better than nothing, but these houses aren't that great for living in. Right. So I want to go and get this, like house quality, right? I need to raise that up. I have a day and 19 hours to do that, which isn't great, but we're going to make that happen. So let's go in to housing, and we're going to go wooden houses. And this is where we can really start snowballing the happiness, because then they can start getting much happier with their housing, and I'm going to build it right here. I think this is a nice area to start like forming, well, where I want my housing to be. Let's break this down to get more wood for that. And, oops, don't do that. Don't do that. Let's undo. Please undo. I still had the deconstruct tool down. Now, what happens in this game is when something breaks, when something collapses, the game will immediately pause and it brings you back into build mode. So it's like, hey, are you sure you want to do this? And if not, you know, if you do, then fine. Just go ahead and say, okay. and watch it all fall down, right? But you don't have to. So in this case, I was able to undo this because I accidentally deleted the structure, and that causes the roof to collapse. Since the roof is collapsing, yeah, that's what'll happen. Now over here, we have a layer index. This gives you statistics about its stability, force that's supporting, whether it's, you know, whether it's near its stress parameters, right? I don't exactly know how to read this. I haven't really put a lot of time into it, but in general, red is bad, right? So it just means like I can't put much more on top of this. It's good for now, but I can't put much more on top of this, and that's okay. I only plan to put this. I only plan to put the roof on it anyway. But this is okay, right? This is handling things just fine for now. And eventually we're going to have better houses anyway, and they'll be able to stack a little higher. So I'm aiming for wooden houses right here, probably at maximum 4 high, because I believe 4 high is the maximum it'll let me do. That plus roofs. So we'll see. And then, of course, boats can already go under this, which is great, but they'll definitely be able to go under it once the sea level drops. Now, I need to get them up to here. This is a big one. And if I do, I think maybe we can do something like, I can't delete this yet. I can't harvest. Oh, maybe I can harvest this. It looks like it's going to let me harvest this. I didn't think I could do the floors yet. Okay. I thought that was a future research gathering. I thought that was, maybe not. I guess not. Woodcatcher's good. I do want to get into energy, start working on electricity and stuff too, because a lot of stuff from power is also very good, and a lot of buildings and stuff later on are going to require power. So we're going to look to get wind energy specifically is a pretty nice passive, but I mean, I can also have people running around in a hamster wheel too that technically generates electricity. It's just not very good. Yeah, so they can break this stuff down, which is nice. And we'll go ahead and put some additional supports here, and then I'll have a ladder for them to climb up here too, I think is a big deal. So we can go maybe even 2 steps so I can get them up on this side too. But here's the rain. And so the rain is now being caught by the rain catchers. There you go. You can see it kind of falling through. There's a little bit of clipping there, but whatever. And they're collecting the rainwater. Both of them at 200%. And then there's this extra one, which is sitting with this here. And this is only at 100% because there's nothing flowing into it. I guess maybe, I don't know if this works, but I'm wondering if I was to, say, put like this, that's a pretty big piece, maybe like this. If I was to just stick something like this, does that do anything to rain collection? It does at 150%. It technically helps it. And you know what? Technically helps it is the best kind of helps it, I think. If it does it on a technical level, then I guess it does it, you know? Food is pretty good. We might be able to get away, I think, at this point with another fishing hut, but as long as our number is green here, I'm not really in a hurry to increase production right now when there's other things I could be building instead. We also want to get to these peculiar objects over time as well. Let's put I want to do something like this, I think, actually. Yeah, I think maybe we... I want to go all the way up. Maybe with the stairs going there, and then you could do something like this. Yeah. Okay, let's try this. We're gonna go like you here. That's going to require some additional support, but we can reinforce it with this. So by having this one here, it adds support to that structure so that it can support that. And then I want to have additional that goes up this way. Now that won't support. However, perhaps instead of this one, perhaps instead I use something like this, which should add a lot of green points there to stabilize this, and it still doesn't matter. Well, actually it will matter by doing that. Yeah. Maybe on this side instead. Yeah, so they can still walk underneath it. So that'll add the stability required. I don't think I need this big piece. I can get rid of that and put this back. Yeah. So now they can access all this stuff here too. Ideally, they can get to this area and they can get over here now. All right, good. So I fixed that problem. Research. Done. Okay, wooden houses. So let's take a look. We got 79 wood, and I'm going to break these down as I build these to get more wood for it. So the wooden houses, they're much more comfortable. And you can see the weight that they can support is higher too. So we have 160 on the stability there. And that's no different. But they can support almost twice the weight. I think it is actually twice the weight, literally twice the weight. So what we'll do is this. I'm going to put you, let's put you right to the side. Let's say here, 1 and 2. Now, it's a little bit overstretched there, but we're going to fix that. So we'll go 1 here. All right. Then I'm going to swap it over and I'm going to go 2, 3. Now I can't build all 3 of them, but as I build these, I will break these down and get the wood back for that. So let's see if we can get people to build it. And of course, everybody is employed, so nobody's going to build it. So I need to have available workers to build it. So let's take, for now, we can take, who do I want to take out? Probably the fishing boat. Where's my fishing boat? Fishing boat is right here. Let's take the workers out of the fishing boat, and then they can come up and start to build these houses. Now, as they build the houses, they're going to need access to them too, right? So we're going to have a balcony that goes across like this, and I think wraps around probably is necessary, but in the meantime, for now, let's maybe not do that one. We'll just have this balcony for now. And in fact, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put the stairs are going to be here. This is a good spot for the stairs, I think. Yeah, now I'm going to block that door, but it's okay because that door is available. And that's what really matters. So I'm actually going to put this right in front of that door. And then we'll extend this so that it's off to the side. So they can either walk directly up here or they can walk to the side, and that's okay. So these guys are like, hey, man, I can't find a path to where I want to go. Where do you want to go? Where are you trying to go? I don't know where you're trying to go. Maybe it's to this house. Yeah, maybe. So let's take this. We're going to bring you up. And then we have this walkway that'll come across like that. And that'll allow you to get to the house. And it really doesn't need to be all the way here. We can actually stop it right there instead. Yeah, although I don't like how it didn't complete the railing. I wish it would have completed the railing. There we go. No, it still doesn't complete the railing. Interesting. Well, it's okay. For now, we'll do that. I've constructed a boat. Yeah. So in this inside, we have these 2 houses here like this. Okay. And then I want to go ahead and break down. And I think it's the end of the day. So I can't really do it right now because nobody's going to build it. But we now have at least some better housing. And so if nobody's living in this, I can't tell who's living in this. No, 2 inhabitants are in there. 2 people are in there. None of these houses are empty. I don't want to break them down while people are sleeping in them, so I guess I'll wait. Please help us. Okay. So group of their own boat has to come with you. They say they are looking for a place to stay. So they have their own boat. We take care of everyone. This will give me engineers will gain loyalty, which is a kind of a big deal. Engineers, they have really good perks. Increased production efficiency and leader traits still a thing, but then eventually you get to gives 1+1 production output to the workplace. So like all of your buildings that would normally be making 1 per hour or something, now they're just making 2. They just doubled their production. It's crazy. So it's very good. They must hand over their boat first. So I can make them give us their boat. No, I don't think I need to do that. This is going to create some influence. I like that. I think I will do the take care of everyone thing, because I do like the idea of boosting up the loyalty there. So we'll grab the engineers and that'll be fine. Now these little houses here can support 2 people, and these ones right here, they can support 4 people. Yet these have much more comfort. I'm not sure how that works. It's the same amount of space. Must be the layout. Either way, that's just how this works. So let's go. Everybody's out of their houses now. That's great. We're going to go ahead and tear these houses down. So the top houses here can now go. And we will use the wood from the teardown here to build the houses over here on this side. So let's go ahead and get those houses like that. And then I'm thinking probably I was going to alternate here. I was going to say like you go houses over here and then have this balcony just like wrap around and spiral. But I'm actually getting a different idea now with this space being available over here. I think I'm actually going to do it this way. I'm going to stack these on top of each other with the doors aligning right alongside each other instead. I think so. Let's break these houses down too. Just trying to get a little bit of these resources back so that I can build these other better houses. And so what I'll do here instead is I think something like this. I want stairs that go from here. Yes. And then we will have another one. Now I'm thinking the staircase, if it comes up from here instead. Let's try this instead. I don't need that or that. I can build this up. Let's have it, yeah, like right here. If I make it stick out, it might be a little weird, but it can give me more room. I'm thinking we do it here. Okay, then we add in this spot, we go about like that. Okay. And then we add another staircase here. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's because of the metal. The metal is providing me that rigidity, that structural integrity. To be able to do that. So now I can have it be like this. And then when I have my balcony going all the way out this way, right? I now have the stairs going up to the center. Now it may look a little weird, but now picture this, right? A row of houses, stairs going up. I then do the same thing here and I can double my housing capacity and have basically no additional staircases or anything required by just placing them on the other side. So basically the stairs will move up the middle of the housing block. I think that is a good solution. I think that's going to work. So that's going to be my game plan from now. And I'm not sure what this 0 out of 2. Oh, you know what? That's the fishing boat, right? Maybe the engineers could do fishing. I don't know. Are engineers good at fishing? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Can't really call it a home. All citizen reaches housing quality. So this is my problem here, is that I need to do this and I don't have a lot of time. 40 minutes left. So I need all their housing quality to be up. So we can break these down. I'm working on it, but it's not happening quite as quickly as I would have liked. So let's add some roofs. That will help their quality as well. And those build instantly, thankfully. But yeah, their housing quality isn't necessarily going to reach that limit. It's 1.7. So I didn't quite get there in time, unfortunately. So I'm going to say maybe this will help. I'm going to have to give them resources. Otherwise, it's going to pick this bad solution. I don't want that. I would love to have hit this. But I'm just going to give them this. And this is going to increase their loyalty. And then I don't need this roof yet either, because I'm going to end up building taller than this. I'm going to end up building higher than this anyway. All right, I think that works out pretty well. So now our housing capacity is up to 24 citizens. We only have 18. So that's great. All right, so we should be getting more water. Let's see what this is. So time has passed for things have settled down, yet we are still fighting for our lives. Increase our rations. That's what they want me to do, is increase our rations. So people can't drink seawater. We know that, and we need to do something more about it. So each of these classes want me to raise the amount of water that they're allowed per day. And I've got a day and a half to make that happen. And of course, I can only do that if we have a really good supply of water. So which bonus do I want more of, really? Because that's which one I want to side on. I'm thinking I probably, like in the near term, the workers make a lot of sense. Sailors are great throughout the game. Engineers, though, especially into the late game, they're better. So if I go like this, maybe I can do all of them. But I have to choose. If I have to choose a side, I think I'm going to go with engineers here. they're also the highest population. So yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and do that. So the engineers will now have double their water rations. And I could do this for everybody, but for now I'm going to do it with just these guys. Okay, next, I kind of want to go down production because it's really good. And we can start to get to metal support buildings, which are going to let me make even longer. I mean, just longer everything. It just goes on and on. Range upgrades for certain things like our junk collectors. But we also need to create electricity. And I think getting to wind turbines and stuff is a pretty good thing. Leisure buildings would help making people happier. I've never used the blocker. I kind of feel like I probably should look into that, yeah? Let's look into using the blocker. Because again, I see things floating by all the time and I just can't get it. And maybe this is what's necessary here. Now notice now that the water has gone away, this stuff structurally can't stay there anymore. It can't float like it was anymore. So it is starting to, it's a warning. It's like, hey, we're going to collapse here. And then it ends up floating. Right? And then it's like, okay, now we have to catch it, right? So yeah, I'm looking into that. All right. But hey, look, this is all will fall. And my flu-ridden self would like to take a break here. I'm sorry about that. I'd like to take a break here. But if you enjoy this, please, by all means, click the video, click the like button and comment and all that stuff down below. We'll pick up right from here when we come back. Okay. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Click on to the next video. Bye-bye.